Hi everybody, Tabitha here. I just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce to you the 5-string banjo. So what I have here is a resonator banjo. It's what you might call a bluegrass banjo, but this is my Bluegrass banjo and it is from Poland. And I just love it. I've had it for about a year now, and Peter and his son Michael made me this to my specs. So I just love it so much. I'll tell you about the other bits of hardware later on as we go through this. But yeah, so the banjo itself is kind of a funny instrument. Really, what it is, for all you music lovers out there, it's really just a drum head. And you can hear that, you know, if you hit the head on it. So this is a drum head. What we have inside is metal. So we have a tone ring, and we've got other components as well to make it all sound so good. And what I have in the back is my resonator. So this is a really beautiful resonator. I do love this one, but a lot of bluegrass banjos have this, and you might be familiar with another type of 5-string banjo called the open back banjo, and that banjo is usually played in old-time music or folk music, just in general. So the bluegrass banjo is tuned to the key of G. So I'm going to go through the strings for you and tell you what each individual string is. So we're going to start with the 5th string. Now, how I like to remember this is the 5th string is the one that is closest to us. And from there, we're going to go down our number scale. So we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it really does help if you do have a banjo in front of you, or if you're looking kind of even on a piece of paper, if you're looking at some strings or some tablatry that you already have, you can just kind of reinforce that memory into your head. So we're going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, with the 1 always ending up closer to the ground. So the 5 is our face, the 1 is closest to the ground. So I'm going to go through the strings and say what each one is. So we start with a G, a D, a G, a B, and then D. So that's G, D, G, B, D. So that's what the instrument is tuned to. What I'm going to talk about next a little bit is these weird things. I talked a little bit about them before, these picks, but what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our picks are kind of like this, if you can see that on the camera. You know, so this scooped end is going to be pointing up towards our head. And we're going to make sure that when we look at them, that they're not totally off center, that they're somewhere mainly central. As we play and as we make contact with the strings, maybe they'll kind of align off, but that's just them molding to our fingers. So what I'm going to do before I play anything on the instrument is assign certain fingers to certain strings. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to say, right, I'm using 3 fingers on my right hand. I'm going to keep my thumb up on the 5th string for now. So keep it up there. And I'm going to use my 2nd finger and I'm going to keep it to the 3rd string. Okay? And then I'm going to keep my 3rd finger to the 1st string. So even without playing anything, you can just set your fingers on the strings. So really in that placement, before we play anything, we want to just get comfortable with how we sit with the instrument. That's a really, really important thing when you come to start playing, and just even as you've been playing for years, or just anyone, I think it's just so important to know that you need to be comfortable. There's really no point of moving on unless you're comfortable. So we're going to set our fingers onto the strings before playing anything, and we're just going to hold it there and just make sure that we have this arm especially in the right place. Let's just forget about this arm right now. Let's keep it down here. Let's help it hold up the banjo. But just make sure that this arm isn't going too high. You know, make sure that the shoulder is really just on this kind of the same level as the 5th string right here. So we just want to make sure that we're comfortable before we play anything. So with that, we're going to start, and we are going to look at these building blocks of bluegrass banjo called rolls. Now, a roll, it sounds funny, and you're thinking, what is this? It's really just a pattern, or as I said, a building block to the music and to bluegrass banjo playing in particular. So we're going to start with a forward roll. There's a few different types of rolls, but the forward roll is really the most common, and you can find it in a lot of different rolls itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to start and go back to where I said placing your fingers, and we're going to start with our 2nd finger hitting the 3rd string. Now we're going to move down the ways, down to the ground, and we're going in a forward motion, and we're going to let our 3rd finger hit the 1st string. Now we're going to finish off this roll by making our thumb hit the 5th string. So if we were to do that all together a little bit faster, this is what it would sound like. So we really don't want to leave it there. We want to keep it going. We want to practice it. We want to get our fingers to move with our brain. And so we want to start with our 2nd finger on the 3rd string again. So 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5. So that's a great thing to practice, just that alone, making sure that you're comfortable with the instrument, that you can keep your fingers in those general positions. And obviously as we move on, we'll be moving our fingers more to different strings, but just for now, just make sure that your hand is in a position where it's not moving all over the place. We want to keep it still, and we just want to make it comfortable for ourselves. So 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5. Now that's, in the burst sense, our forward roll. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to look at another roll that is very similar to the forward roll. It's called the backward roll, or the reverse roll, as some people call it. So what that roll really is, it's just the opposite of the forward roll. So instead of moving from the 5th string down to the ground, we're going to come back the way and take the pattern up towards us. So we're going to start again, we're going to start on the 3rd string with our 2nd finger, and we're going to go 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Now if we were to do that a bit faster, it would sound like this. Okay? So that again is really good practice, just to have a go at trying to play both of those rolls and kind of know the difference just by ear, by listening to yourself playing them, and notice the different notes in order. So that's a great thing to practice. Let's play the forward roll again. Reverse roll. And again, you can do it as many times as you want. Just make sure that you're keeping the pattern going. It's your thing to do when you're watching television, when you're even reading, honestly, anything. Just find the time just to maybe go to your instrument and just to have a go at trying to figure out what the different sounds are and how things are different to each other in each roll. So the next roll I'm going to show you is the mixed roll, or the both roll as some people call it. And it's really the reverse roll and the forward roll combined. So I'll play that for you. So starting on the 3rd string. So that would be 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. So if you want to go back and slow this video down or download it or whatever, you can do that and you can slow it down. But for time, I'm going to move on and we're going to talk about this last roll. And this is the alternating thumb roll. So it's also what it says it is. We're going to start off with it on the 3rd string. So as I said, we move on with these rolls and we realize that our fingers can go to different strings. But as I mentioned at the start, it's good to just have an idea of whereabouts your fingers are going. Like, we don't want this thumb to go down right to the bottom in Bluegrass. It's just not a very comfortable thing to do with your right hand as you're starting out playing these rolls. Maybe you can do that as you progress and move on and learn more. But I would say just keep it up at the 5th string for now. But for this roll, I just want to show you what it would sound like playing an alternating thumb roll using your thumb on the 3rd string. So really what that is, we're going to start out and we're going to play our thumb on the 3rd. Then we're going to use our 2nd finger and use it on the 2nd string. So that would be. Then we're going to move our thumb back up to the 5th string. So. And then we're going to use our 3rd finger and hit the 1st string. So that would be. Now let's just stop there and let's practice that just one more time. Now we're going to take our thumb and we're going to put it on the 4th string. And again, we're going to keep our finger on the 2nd string, our 2nd finger on the 2nd string, and we're going to play. So I'll play that for you. Now we're going to move our thumb back up and play it on the 5th string. And then we're going to hit our 3rd finger onto the 1st string. So that would be. So there we have it. There's the alternating thumb roll, and I'll play that for you again a little bit faster. This is a great one to practice, just watching television, eating your dinner, sleeping, whatever. So with all those rolls in mind, we're gonna think how we can use them and how they come into playing the banjo and how they come into playing melodies or how they come into playing backup and when people are singing songs. So I'm going to play a little bit of You Are My Sunshine and just see if you can hear where the rolls are that we've just talked about, where the forward roll is, where the reverse roll is being used, and how they just weave their way into the melody and they really bring out the melody. So that was You Are My Sunshine played with a combination of these rolls, and if you can just practice these over and over again, just really don't worry about your left hand, just kind of take the time to get some feeling for the rolls in your right hand, and then you can come to your left hand and be like, okay, so I might just go about trying to find a melody on the neck. So really what I would advise for that is have a look at some internet resources, books, banjo tabs, whatever you think you want to look at. Try and just memorize a few chords. What's really important about the banjo is that it's tuned to G, and we're really going to be using mainly the G, and a C chord, and a D chord. So if you can learn those 3 chords, I think that's really important to going about playing melodies and also playing backup for people singing. So a G, I forgot to say, is just an open, as you probably figured already. We can also play it like this. So G, C, D, G. So what I would recommend, I'm not going to teach you how to play what I just played, but I'm going to just say something that really helps whenever you're starting to figure out how to use your left hand on the banjo. I would recommend just playing the melody on 1 string. So for a song like You Are My Sunshine, just have a go at just playing it on the 3rd string. So if we do that, this is what we get. That's in its most basic sense of really what the melody is. Just using my thumb on my right hand. Now we're gonna look at it on a different string, and just to get an idea, to get more comfortable with where the notes are on the banjo neck. That's a hugely important thing when you're discovering up the neck, or back down the neck, anywhere. So if we play it on the 1st string opposed to the 3rd string. And as I said, you can do this on any string that you want to. Try and just find the melody. I feel like it's a really, really important thing when you're going about learning or just practicing, just in general. So those are my tips. Yeah, my other thing I just wanted to mention was just my gear. And you might be thinking, yeah, what other parts of the banjo are really fun to talk about? And that's what I'm thinking about. But anyway, so this is a beautiful banjo that I have from Bluegrass Banjos, and I just love it so much. It's just so easy to play. It's got an extension on the fingerboard, which means that I can get up to those frets, which I don't do all the time. It's just fun to challenge myself. What I have here is a mahogany armrest, and I also have a mahogany on the banjo, so it just matches so well. I have a beautiful custom strap here from Martin Gross, who is a maker in Germany, and he just creates beautiful straps, leather, embroidered, everything that you'd ever want from a strap. So go check out all of those resources: Banjo Lit, Bluegrass Banjos, also Martin straps as well. So I hope this has been helpful, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Happy banjoing!